able to do small amounts of interpreting work as a substitute in educational settings, both K through 12 and post-secondary, as well as team assignments with your former internship mentor. It is now early January and you will begin working at a local university doing two ongoing undergraduate courses this term that meet once per week. Session. Approximately 1 week before classes begin, you receive detailed information about the courses and instructors, deaf students, and team interpreters with whom you will be working. It is the same deaf student for both classes. You know this deaf person from their involvement in various interpreting program activities. You'll be working with a different team interpreter for each course. One of the interpreters you are familiar with, as she is quite involved in the local interpreting and deaf communities. The other interpreter you have not met before. What are you thinking about as you consider preparing for your work at this university? What actions might you take prior to the first meeting of these courses? What might you plan to do for the first sessions? So what I think that I would do to prepare for the work for this university is get together with the teacher, introduce myself and my team to the teacher, ask, what material the classes are going over, what we will need to be interpreting, go over with my team, how we're going to go about getting the information to the deaf consumer. If the deaf consumer, has any specific ways they want us to, any particular vocabulary they want us to use, and what, introducing myself to the new interpreter, my new team interpreter, seeing how, ask them what they've done, figure out, who's going to take what, who's going to go first, are we going to turn take, are we going to go every 20-30 minutes, and I think that if we got together and went over the material that we got a week before, and kind of just to refresh ourselves of the material. I think that planning for the first, what I would do for the first session would be, to scope out the room. What does the room look like? Where would I be standing? And, just kind of feel it out. And if something doesn't work, then adjust to that and recognize, this may not be working. How can we change it to make it fit? Last night you had a successful and supportive experience working with the interpreter whom you already knew in the psychology class. Okay. Psychology. Teaming went smoothly and the deaf students seemed satisfied with the work and the fact that you would be one of the interpreters for the term. Tonight, you are interpreting for the other class, sociology. Prior to arriving tonight, you find out some basic background information about the team interpreter, Lisa, whom you will be working with tonight, from the interpreter coordinator and the other team from the interpreter. She has been interpreting for 20 plus years, has deaf parents, and never went through formal training. She works full-time in another job that is unrelated to interpreting for the deaf community. She works part-time at the university interpreting one evening course per term. What are you thinking? What will you say? Your first opportunity to meet her and talk with her was about 10 minutes before the course you were both interpreting began. You both introduced yourselves, and she began telling you about how exhausted she was from a long day, and that all the way here, all she could think about was how she wished she could just go home. What are you thinking? What will you say to... I think for this one, after meeting Lisa and getting to know her for about 10 minutes and knowing that she is a skilled professional and has been interpreting for over 20 plus years, I think that when she makes the comment that she's tired and wishes she could just go home, to me, I think I would just tell her that she could, she could just, it's the last class of the night. It's her last job of the night, of the day, and that, she can do it. She can push through it. I'm here to help support you. I will do anything that I can to help you. I think that, what I'm thinking is like, okay, you're a skilled professional. Why wouldn't you have been in a situation like this before where you're really tired? Would you really just kind of not do anything? Maybe just go home? But what I also be thinking, why is this, this person has had an exhausting day, so why would this be an issue if you've had 20 years of experience with interpreting? Because interpreting, is tough and can be long, and it is a night class, so, it is late, but I think the work needs to get done no matter how late or how tired you are. You just got to figure out ways to keep yourself going and, to keep yourself alert and able to do the work. I think, just encouraging Lisa to, you're almost done. It's a 2-hour class. We can do it. We'll get through it. You're not here alone. I'm here with you. It's a sociology class. I'm not sure if you've had any prior experience with sociology. I may or may not have experience with sociology, but we both can do it, and we're going to do our best to make sure that our work is accurate and the quality of our work is good quality work. You decide to try and steer the conversation politely to discussing strategies for teaming so that you could get a feel of how she works with a co-interpreter, and so you could share your preferences and needs. Every time you attempted to bring up the issue of teaming, she simply said, "I'm flexible, don't worry about me." The most you managed to discuss and agree on was switching every 20 minutes, and that she would begin. What are you thinking? What actions might you take during break after class? I think what I would be thinking at this point is since I'm new, and we haven't ever teamed before, her comment of saying, "I am flexible, don't worry about me," for me, I'd be thinking, okay, well, I want a little bit more than that. I want to know exactly how you feel about it. or how Lisa would feel about it. I think that discussing and agreeing on switching every 20 minutes, and that she would begin, I think that's a good starting point. But I think I would like to have a more stable agreement on, the flexibility. What does that look like? Does that look like, like if I don't know a concept or I get stuck on something, are you going to be willing to look, help me out? Are you just going to be sitting there while I'm up there doing my thing? Are you going to be, or are you actually really going to be flexible? And if I need help, maybe switch sooner, or, if we go over the 20 minutes, are you going to be upset? Are you going to, try to get my attention and be like, hey, your 20 minutes are up. It's my turn. So what exactly does your flexibility look like? And don't worry about me. I think for me, I would be worrying if you needed something and I wasn't able to do it. I'd worry that I wasn't there to support you in the way that I was hoping to. During a break, if something's not going well, or, I'd probably ask, hey, how is this working for you? Do we need to change anything? How can I best support you? And, kind of give her some things of how she could best support me if I had any issues as well. After the class, probably just recap and actually decide, does this work for us in this situation? Is this not successful? What changes need to be made? If any changes need to be made, if you're cool with it, great. If she's cool with it, awesome. It is now the second week of classes and the second session of the sociology class. Since you didn't have time prior to the first class to discuss some of your needs and teaming preferences with Lisa, you made a point to share some things with her after class last week. She seemed open and said that she was not used to teaming in the way that you were proposing, but she would give it a shot. Again, this week, you both determined that Lisa will begin after you switch. She stays in the room and appears to be attentive. She is able to provide you support when you ask for feeds. All in all, the teaming is going much better than it did last week. During the first break, after 1 hour, Lisa says she needs to leave 40 minutes early tonight because something has come up. So you suggest that she can interpret longer than 20 minutes right before she has to leave, and that way you would just have the 40 remaining minutes to interpret and be rested since you had a longer break. What are you thinking? How will you respond to Lisa? What is influencing your decision to reply this way? What I'm thinking is, I'm glad and excited that this is going well. Our teaming is going well. I think that it's nice to see that this is going so well, and even though she hasn't teamed very much, she was willing to give my input a shot. I think that she also is, someone that I would probably want to team with again because, we're working so well together. Even though I didn't have as much time to, prepare during the first week, or before the first class to discuss, my needs and my teaming preferences. I'm very appreciative that she was willing to give my preference or my input, a shot. and willing to try it out to see if it worked with her, for someone who's never done a whole lot of teaming before. For me, I would agree to, after at the break during the first hour, I would, for me personally, agree and be okay with Lisa leaving 40 minutes early because, something came up. And yes, I would be willing, to let her do more than 20 minutes and have her start again at the beginning of the second hour to continue the class, so that she could leave and go to the whatever she needs to do. I think that she, I think it's a good, I think that it's a fair switch, since it's been going so well. I would totally be up to, just doing the last 40 minutes by myself if she's willing to do if she's wanting to do that. And what is influencing my decision to reply this way is just the kind of person that I am. If a colleague has a valid reason or needs to leave early and is willing to accommodate to them leaving sooner than usual, I think that's amazing that they would suggest, hey, might need to leave early from this today. Can, we maybe switch and do something, change it up so that I am able to leave and be at whatever I need to do on time. I think that is a great way professionally to go about something, that if something does come up and is important and needs to be looked at and accommodate to that, and be able to have both people agree and be, hey, okay, this person needs to leave early. Can she start again at the second hour and maybe go a little bit longer than 20 minutes, and then giving me that time and that break and that extra support for her. I think that I would be able to do that last 40 minutes by myself because I've had that time, and just coming out of that break, I'd have enough time and enough energy and be okay with doing the last 40 minutes by myself. It is now the 6th week of class. You have gained some confidence and comfort. Teaming has continued to be great in psychology class and has continued to be okay with Lisa in sociology class. The only thing that is uncomfortable now is that Lisa has left 40 minutes early twice. Again this week, Lisa says that she needs to leave early. She lets you know that she has another interpreting job and that she must leave early from the university in order to arrive to the other job on time. What are you thinking? How will you respond to Lisa? What actions will you take and why? Okay, so for this one, since it has happened twice before, that kind of would be, now that kind of sparks my, why is this, if this thing is coming up, then why did you say you'd be okay with taking this interpreting job once a week once a night during the term, or, one class during the term? Why is this, if you really didn't have the time for it, why would you have, signed up for it? And, maybe you didn't know at the time, but I think that this is something that should have been, assessed kind of towards the beginning if you were needing to leave early for other jobs. And if you're needing to leave, this also would spark, you're tired and you're complaining and wanting to just go home, but you're leaving early to go to another job. So why would you be why would you have complained at the beginning of being so tired because of the day that you've had, but you've left to go to different jobs? That would be my only concern. And, knowing that our teaming has been going great, that would just be a concern for me, because personally I care about people, and I want to make sure that, they're taking care of themselves. And, yes, we can be, sometimes we can commit to things that we didn't know we probably shouldn't have committed to. I think that since our teaming has been going great, I think that the relationship that we've built professionally, I think I would feel okay having this conversation with her. And, I feel that I would be okay having this conversation with her because, I am a professional. Our teaming has been going great. I don't see, she was willing to, listen and try a way that I think that we should do the teaming, and she was willing to try it. So if she was willing to try it in the beginning, I think, why wouldn't she not take what I would have to say into consideration, since she had already done that and it worked. If it didn't work, and if if our teaming wasn't going so great, maybe that would change how I would respond to this. And, maybe I wouldn't feel as comfortable talking about it with her if, it hadn't been going well. But since this has been going so well up until now, I would feel comfortable enough to, make sure that, that she's okay. And, if there's anything that I can do to help support her, maybe that's, finding another interpreter to come with me, or going to the director of interpreters on the campus, with her, to make sure that, we get this all figured out. And if she can't do it, being able to find somebody for the remainder of the term. And I would take that action, to be there as a supportive colleague, and, not having to have her go through it alone. And, just being there for more support that way, and letting her know by going with her that, it's okay if she can't do it anymore, or, she's leaving, and maybe we need another interpreter come in after her. And so that's how I would, handle that situation. And I think that's a professional way of doing it, without, to where I feel okay doing it and that she feels okay. Because I'm the kind of person who doesn't really like conflict. And so to have conflict, I try to do everything I can to make sure that there is no conflict, and that things get resolved in a timely manner with, ease and respect and support.